The cry out method is something that I discuss with most families that I talk to, and quite often it is one of the first questions that is asked, and it's the first thing that we discuss. And quite rightly, many parents are not comfortable being in a situation where their child is left to be upset for prolonged periods of time. And so that's why it's really important for me in the work that I do that I am practicing gentle and gradual strategies and techniques that will be effective long term in terms of achieving sleep success for your child and for you as a family as well. So I wanted to talk about the cry out method and the truth about it, so that you can be informed about the difference between cry out and controlled crying. I use controlled crying. The methods that I'm qualified to practice do include controlled crying, but I never work with the cry out method because research has shown us that leaving a child to be upset for a prolonged period of time will lead them to experiencing a sense of abandonment. So it's essentially, if your child is putting out distress signals, they're upset, they're distressed, they're communicating to you that they're distressed, and you aren't responding to them, you're not in sight, they don't know where you are, they start to experience a sense of abandonment. And this has shown in research to have long-lasting psychological effects for children. So it is not something that I ever recommend, it's not something that I ever work with. What I do work with is two strategies where you would either be present in the room whilst you are going through the process of achieving self-settling. So ultimately that's what we're wanting to achieve by using any kind of controlled crying method. We want our children to learn to establish a self-settling skill so that they can continue to develop it. So one method is where you would stay in the room with them whilst that skill is developing, and the other method would be where you would be responding to them at timed intervals. So you wouldn't be present in the room the whole time, but you would be responding to them. So it's a very, very controlled situation, it's a controlled response where you are responding to them, either by being in the room the whole time or by responding to them at regular intervals. So you're helping them to know that you're not far away, you're helping them to know that you are offering comfort and reassurance, but it's just on your terms. So if you're in a situation where your little one has controlled the routine for a while and things have been on their terms, and then suddenly you flip it and you switch it so that you're in charge, you're in control, and you are implementing these strategies to encourage them to practice healthy sleep habits and to achieve long-term successful sleep, then you can't abandon them. You cannot do cry out with a child who you are responding to. It's just not possible. So that is the difference between cry out and controlled crying. Whilst the two strategies that I use, I would expect with both of them for there to be some upset. So there will be crying. Sometimes there isn't, and sometimes children respond really well, and families are able to achieve results in a matter of days with these methods by being consistent. However, when there is change in a child's routine, there's going to be upset, there's going to be confusion, there's going to be potential frustration, because you are going from a situation where you are doing whatever you can to make them comfortable and settled to being more controlled in the way that you're responding to them. And you are encouraging them to do something that they've never done before. So learning potentially to put themselves to sleep and to self-settle is going to be brand new for them. So if you have gone from feeding them milk to sleep, cuddling them to sleep, rocking to sleep, using motion, using a dummy, co-sleeping, any of these things, to actually you're going to be in your own sleep space now, and you're going to learn this skill and you're going to practice this skill, and we're going to be with you every step of the way. We're going to respond to you, we're going to make sure that you're safe and that you're okay, and we will offer comfort, but that's all that we're going to do. We're not going to resort back to old habits, and we're going to be consistent in helping you to achieve this end goal of being independent with your sleep. So ultimately I do always say that There might be crying, but it's certainly not crying it out. So I hope that that's helpful for any family that is thinking about getting some help with their little one's sleep, but are worried about the type of strategies or techniques that are used, or if there's any confusion around different approaches where the cry it out method is concerned, if that's something that doesn't sit well with you, and that might be holding you back from looking for help or seeking advice, then I hope that's helpful, and I hope that you can feel reassured and confident that if you're having trouble with your child's sleep, then I can absolutely help. And please get in touch if you have any questions. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.